chilling effect on free speech this would have if we let you just rifle through our letters to the editor file. But a lot of the smaller papers aren't that sophisticated, so they, said, sure, come on up, look through our letters to the editor file. And the kinds of letters that were seized by the FBI from these files were predominantly letters from environmentally sympathetic people writing in about timber harvest plans in their community and things like that. And the strangest one is a poem that was seized by the FBI by a woman named Feather Forest Walker, who wrote a poem called something like, How Do We Know Their Spirits? And it was about trees and ferns and forest creatures and owls and things. And it waxed eloquent about the forest. And the FBI seized this poem and sent it off to the Behavioral Science Unit for analysis. And then Feather got her own little file in the FBI Behavioral Science Lab. Then, around the time that the district attorney declines to press charges, the FBI vows that they're going to step up their investigation and really find the bombers. That doesn't mean look at any other leads. That means step up their surveillance and investigation of Judy and Daryl. What they do then is they compile a list of, basically, of the most active Earth First activists in Northern California, plus these 14 people. They compile a list of their phone calls that they've made over a 3-month period around the time of the bombing. And it comes up to 634 phone numbers. And these are the out-of-town phone calls that these people have made.
Well, unfortunately, we have to cut it right there. Time is catching up with us. The time is 12 noon. You're listening to KBOO 90.7 FM in Portland. Next week on the lecture series, we'll have a full talk this time, by Ward Churchill on Big Brother is Watching, another program from Alternative Radio. And also I want to mention that tomorrow morning on Talk Radio at 7:30, Will Levin speaks with Rahul Mahajan, an expert on South and Central Asia. That's at 7:30 tomorrow. Coming up next, the KBOO Community Calendar, and then the Don Manning Jazz Show. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Community Calendar for Wednesday and Thursday, October 3rd and 4th. The Zenger Farm Harvest Festival will take place this Saturday, October 6th, from 1 to 5 p.m. The farm is located at 11741 Southeast Foster Road. Enjoy cider pressing, live old-time music, pumpkin painting, and more. Learn about the Urban Bounty operation at Zenger Farm and about the plans to transform this farm and wetland into an accessible community resource. Call Erica at 503-282-4790 for more information and directions. Join the Cascadia Forest Alliance this Saturday, October 6th, on a hike through the Ungard Timber Sale. Carpools for the day hike will meet at the Daily Grind on Southeast 40th and Hawthorne at 9:30 a.m. Please bring food, water, rain gear, and be prepared to hike off trail. For more information, call the CFA at 503-241-4879. Listen to the Spirits of Tryon Creek in legend and song this Saturday, October 6th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Tryon Creek State Natural Area, located at 11321 Southwest Terwilliger Boulevard. Coyote, salmon, and bear will come alive through the stories of renowned Northwest storytellers Ed Edmo and Will Horniak, and the traditional Native American music of Arlie Neskahi. Bring a flashlight, a jacket, and your sense of wonder. Call 503-636-9886, extension 22, to learn more about this event. S.O.A.R, sponsors organized to assist refugees, is looking for volunteers to teach English as a second language. All you need are good verbal skills, patience with non-English speaking people, and an interest in other cultures. Call 503-284-3002 to learn more. The Community Cycling Center needs bikes in order to make their innovative programs happen. They are currently seeking donations of used bikes for their Create a Commuter program and their holiday bike drive. All donations are tax deductible. Call 503-228-8864, extension 2 for more information. And that wraps up the community calendar for Wednesday and Thursday, October 3rd and 4th. You're listening to Community Radio at KBOO 90.7 in Portland.
Hi, am I on? Yeah, this is Per with a little quick news break here. We've been told that the trial, which is due to start this month, has been postponed at the request of Darrell Cherney and Alicia Littletree. It's been postponed for, I think, maybe up to 6 months, for the reason that, the present climate is not conducive to a reasonable jury and all that kind of stuff. So the trial has been postponed, but KBOO will continue to keep informed on that. So now over to the Don Manning Jazz Show.
Oh, that's beautiful, Dizzy. Beautiful blowing. This is Don Manning down here. And Rosie the Jazz Dog. I want to tell you first of all that I had a little talk here with J. Brian Johnstone. He was doing one of the pledge pitches back a ways. He's from Scotland, and he lives on the coast, and he likes my show, and he wanted to meet Rosie. So I thought that was real sweet. And it's a pleasure to know you, Brian, if you're listening. It's a real pleasure. Brian Johnstone. And he's a musician. He's in Manzanita, Oregon. Well, I want to tell you what happened at the dog party before we get to some more Dizzy Gillespie. It was Lori's birthday. Lori's dog, Sundance, made the guest list. And of course, Sundance wanted Rosie, so I tagged along. And then Jill and Steffi have 2 dogs, Desi and Oni, and they were there, of course. And it was a real swell party. Steffi did some master chef cooking, and of all the surprises, Jill baked a large chocolate cake in the shape of a dog's head with eyes, nose and mouth and big ears. And it was not only delicious, but a real kick to see. Now, of course, the dogs, plural, didn't get any of that I know of. But the dogs all got bones when the party first started, sort of like party favors. They all had bones, so they were all content. Well, during a lull in the proceedings, we had already eaten a substantial amount. One of the dogs, they say it was Rosie, I'm not sure. One of the dogs decided to put on a show, and they ran around that yard. Rosie ran around in circles, and the other dogs ran in other geometric patterns. My gosh, they put on a show. You should have seen that. And at the height of it, Desi got so excited she jumped into this little wading pool, and of course Rosie had to follow. And it was just a heck of a great get-together for the adults and the dogs. So, Sundance, I love you. And same Desi and Oni. And we have I got double fan mail today. I got twice as much fan mail today. Isn't that something? I got 2 postcards instead of 1. I thought that was really noteworthy. But there was a note in here for Rosie the Jazz Dog, and it says, Frank and Izzy say hi. And then there's a print of a dog's paw. Frank and Izzy, not Dizzy, Izzy. And it says, via Lori Thrun, who pledged on Saturday, and hi from your old friend, Polly Waller. Yes, Polly Waller. When I think of that, I think of the days when we were across the river broadcasting from downtown Portland, and a guy that I really miss and really care for, and that's Count Dutch. A lot of you that came along later don't know who Count Dutch was because he passed away way too soon, but he played organ and piano in the modern vein, and he very much liked my show, And I do remember, I really do. Now, one thing more before we get started here is that I remember that last week, a gentleman called in and pledged in Rosie's name. I thought that was real great. She thought it was real great. And he said he had a dog named Jake Leviticus, and was Rosie going with anybody? Well, the first of all, we talked it over after the show, and the first thing is, are Jake's intentions honorable? I would want to know that first. And Rosie's idea is, why don't you send a picture? And you could also list hobbies, Jake Leviticus hobbies, and you could, according to Rosie, you should mail that to Rosie the Jazz Dog Show, and if you want to, you can put in little letters Don Manning, and she'll be sure and get it. So that's the way it goes with that. And I want to thank everybody involved, and I want to thank everybody that pledged the last 2 shows that I did, and I hope we get a good response today. We need it, we really do. Well, I had lots of requests about my theme, which is A Man from Monterey. Comes from a CD called Dizzy Gillespie with Gil Fuller, the Monterey Jazz Festival Orchestra. And the first one we heard, as I said, was Man from Monterey. Second cut, Angel City. Third cut, Theme from the Sandpiper. What is the theme from the Sandpiper? Can you call me at 231-8187 and tell me what that is also known as? Love Theme from the Sandpiper? Of course, when you hear it, it'll be the second tune. You'll know when you hear it. Dizzy Gillespie, Gil Fuller, conducting and arranging and composing. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, we just had a winner there, came on. Dan Shiwi called, and the answer, of course, is Shadow of Your Smile. And I believe that was written by Johnny Mandel. Yes, it was. Remember the movie The Sandpiper? It starred Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. Well, Dan, that's it. You're right on target with that. But we have to take a moment out here now and check out what's going on with my friends out front.
Okay, well, here we are. Our last segment, we did really good. We made $970 in that, I guess, in that 1 hour.
In that 1 hour.
Wow, that is something. And we have some people to thank. We have Alan in Portland, who is renewing. Jonathan in Aloha, who is a new member. Welcome to KBOO, Jonathan.
That's great.
Also, Winter, who plays for the Earth Force Band, is renewing from Portland. Lisa from Portland is renewing. And Stephen from Salem is renewing. So thank you all, and thanks to all the people who brought in $970 in this last segment. So now on to jazz with Don. How you doing, Don?
Just fine.
We're really hearing some great music. You know, I just love listening to Dizzy Gillespie. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just I don't know. I mean, this is I think KBOO's jazz programming is really unique. I think it's concentrated. We have the best jazz. It's just kind of, you know, we're not 24 hours a day with it, but we sort of bring out the best that's in the whole jazz repertoire. And Don Manning's show has been on for a long time, and it's I mean, he sort of focuses in on a really unique period in the history of jazz, sort of the bebop era. You might say that was almost like the high point of jazz.
Yeah,
you know?
for a lot of people it was.
Yeah.
I think probably for me it was.
Mm-hmm.
One of the nice things about Don's show that I like is I started listening to jazz probably when I was about 17 years old. I'd gotten out of high school up in Canada.
They had Dixieland back then?
I think so. I'd gotten out of high school up in Canada, came down, started going to college in Seattle. And on some of the jukeboxes, they had, some of the music Don plays. And then I made a couple of friends, and we started going to things like Jazz at the Phil, Jazz at the Pacific, Norm Grant stuff, and going to their concerts when they came through Seattle. And I remember things like Stan Getz, when he got out of jail or prison or wherever he was for boosting the hotel in the Olympic, boosting the pharmacy in the Olympic Hotel, got up on stage before I don't know how many thousand people, and apologized at for wanting the barbiturates or whatever it was he was trying to get out of there, and he got caught and went to prison behind it. And then I come in here, and takes me back. I listen to Don Manning playing Getz again.
Yes, Dizzy, Gil Fuller, both great. That's for sure. Pear.
Well, here we are again. Man, that's just amazing trumpet playing. Just sitting here kind of mesmerized by that.
Yeah.
Well, we hate to keep interrupting, but gee whiz, we have to keep making our pitch. We have to keep kind of begging for bucks here. I would like to thank the Higher Taste for their delicious sandwiches, and it came via Floyd. And
thank you, Floyd. Thank you, Higher Taste. They're great.
And I think we have a couple of contributors to thank.
Yes, we have Gail from Portland, who's a new member, and Clarence, who's renewing. And Clarence came on in, and really want to give them a lot of thanks for coming in here and doing that. There's also 4 people I'd like to thank for their Yo Women and Yo Man work this morning. Holly, Jim, Scott, who were on the phones, and there were only 3 people here, and boy, the calls were coming in. We thank you all, and Brian for pitching with me. We all did some pretty good work this morning. Thank you very much. We have a goal originally of $400. I think we're down to $240, and that's pretty good. We haven't pitched very hard. We haven't pitched very long. 1-877-500-5266 or 503-231-8032. Support jazz, best jazz in Portland. Support Don Manning. Support KBOO. We've got a lot of I suppose some people would call it mind candy. A lot of talk this morning, and it reached our heads. And this afternoon, Don, among others, is going to open up our hearts a little bit with the music that we need to hear. And it's the music of a nice fall day. It's warm out now. The sun is shining. But if you're driving along the road, pull over, take out your cell phone, call us 503-231-8032, 1-877-500-5266, or take the opportunity to stop by KBOO Radio. Might give you a taste of Higher Taste sandwiches. We'll pour you a cup of coffee, and we'll help yourself by supporting KBOO, becoming a KBOO member, an active member, not a passive listener. How about that jazz? Great trumpet, eh?
Oh yeah, we need to. We can't just keep filling our minds with heavy thoughts all the time. You have to give it a rest sometime. Let all the heavy thoughts gel a little bit, or else you're just going to have this mad scramble inside your brain. And so this is, I don't know. Boy, this would be a nice day to be sitting out in the garden, looking at the weeds grow and then listening to great music or something.
Right. You could be out there listening to Don, watching your blackberries grow out there.
That's right. Yeah. Sort of in the morning glory, so you can catch them in the act there.
Right. But I'll tell you something. Pear's here, I'm here, Ani's here. We've got 2 or 3 folks who are here, one with her grandson, and they're here to answer the phones. And we have Don. We're all volunteers, and we have Don Manning, who comes in and plays some of the greatest music in the world. I think I said Guy Lombardo, greatest music this side of heaven, or something like that. Well, the real greatest music this side of heaven is found 12 o'clock to 5, Wednesday afternoon. The best jazz in town, folks, starting with Don Manning.
Yeah, I did meet Guy Lombardo one time.
I used to listen to him on the radio.
He used to play at the Roosevelt Grill in New York. Yeah.
Yeah. I knew those guys.
He had an interesting saxophone section, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, really. They're wonderful guys.
They had their own sound,
Yep.
Yeah.
I think some girl invited me to her high school prom, and it was at the Roosevelt Grill or something
Oh
like
my,
that. You know?
that's fancy.
Yeah,
High on the hog.
That's right. And he used to race motorboats. Lived out on Long Island. He used to race motorboats
Right.
and things like that.
That's right.
You know. Too bad his music couldn't keep up with his motorboats.
But I'll tell you whose music does keep up with Lombardo's motorboats, and that's the music of Diz, Shorty Rogers, Shelley Mann, Stan Getz. You know these folks. You've been listening to them Wednesday afternoon. KBOO Radio, 503-231-8032, 1-877-500-5266.
Okay, call in now. I mean, we have some operators here just waiting to talk to you, and they'll just talk to them for a couple minutes, and you'll go away feeling better. Then you can just kind of listen to the rest of this show with with a lighter heart, knowing that you have helped bring it in. You know.
You know, Grace and Aileen talked about that this morning on right around news in the beginning of public affairs programming, about what it was like for them, and how long they put off becoming a KBOO member and how good they felt and how happy they felt once they made that decision. And you can get that feeling of goodness and happiness too about supporting a good, positive, progressive community institution like KBOO by calling 503-231-8032 or 1-877-500-5266 and bringing you the best sounds this side of I don't know where. They're beautiful.
That's right. Okay, thank you. Back to Don.
Okay, Don.
Thank you, gentlemen. I had an experience with Guy Lombardo and his band when I was with a lounge group, played Las Vegas, and we played it opposite him. And he and his brothers, they always were out front when we played, and they were very nice to us, even though we were worlds away from what he was doing in style. But, what I'm trying to say is they were real nice guys. And at this club in Vegas, it was the Tropicana, and there was a cymbal thief around, and everybody knew it. All the drummers knew it. And so everybody was kind of nervous because some nice cymbals had been lost. Well, when Guy Lombardo heard this, he said, when we finish tonight, I want you to bring your cymbals to my dressing room and we'll lock them in. Nobody can get at it. And so I did so. I thought that was just great. Well, you probably guessed what happened. The next day, Lombardo was off, and nobody had the key to the dressing room. So I had to play without cymbals, if you can imagine. Well, we're moving on to Symphony Sid now. You've heard of the Metropolitan Opera House, and you've heard of Bird, Charlie Parker. Yes, Charlie Parker, the Royal Roost on Broadway in New York City back in the year 1948. The year it was illegal to make records for most of 48. Kind of a strike deal, a self-imposed strike deal from the top of the Musicians Union. But these broadcasts were recorded privately and issued years and years later. Actually, I see here what we heard was 1949. Okay, I hate to interrupt, but we're trying very hard down here to accomplish something. Jan.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, fine.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, just great.
Okay. Because I'm not hearing through these phones. Let me switch.
Okay, we allow that. No extra charge.
Okay, that's better. What we're trying to accomplish down here is we're doing our twice-a-year membership drive. We come to you, it's the only time we get commercial, and we do it for 3 weeks, spring and fall. And this is the time. Somebody called up here a while back and talked to one of our phone answers, and they said, there's this, membership drive going to be over soon. I renewed early on, and I'm tired of listening to us. And I can imagine. My voice isn't the greatest in the world. In the past couple of days, you heard me quite a bit. I know Grace and Aileen have put in a lot of time here. Early on, people like Gene Bradley did. We've heard Ani and a number of other folks who have pitched, asked you for money, asked you to become a member of the KBOO family. We're going to go till probably October the 7th, and then we'll be done. You won't hear from us till spring, and so this is the time right now that you can act. This is the time you can become a member of KBOO, and you can support the kind of music that Don Manning and other folks play here at KBOO. You can support the kind of incisive thought and analysis you heard this morning. You can support the kind of spoken word you hear with Barbara Morticella and others that they do here. You can support Richard Francis and the things he does often on Thursday night. I understand we're having some pre-World War II German music coming up here in a week or two. I heard a show of German cabaret music that Richard did that was absolutely excellent. You can support all of this by becoming a member now, and you become a member by calling 503-231-8032 or 1-877-500-5266 if you're out of the Portland metro area. We have folks who listen in Portland, who become members in Portland, and who renew in Portland, and we have new members from Portland. But the same is true for folks in Vancouver and north, up the Columbia River, places like Scappoose, even Astoria, out to the west and northwest. We've had people from the coast call, people from Salem, Albany, Corvallis, even northern Eugene. Somebody came in and gave us a check. Driving by, came by, gave us a check, said, what do we have to do to get you down into Eugene area? We need you. And I say, we already are to some degree in a couple of hills in northern Eugene. We also go east. We go east to Millay, to White Salmon, to Bingen, to Hood River. Maybe out further east if the weather is good. And you all can support us. You can all become a part of the KBOO family. You can all become part of this great sound that we're getting this afternoon from Don Manning and from the kind of news that Denise and Catherine get in the public affairs program that goes on. You can support it by calling 503-231-8032 or 1-877-500-5266. When you do that, you move from becoming a passive listener to an active member. We bring you what we bring you because we feel that no person is an island entire of him or herself. Again, John Donne, again paraphrasing. That we are together, we are a community. We are a voice for those who can't be heard, a voice for the music you don't hear, a voice for the thoughts that is becoming harder and harder for people to think. We don't have playlists. We don't say you can't play John Lennon. You can't play a song that says walk like an Egyptian. And by the way, if you want to walk like an Egyptian, walk on down here. 20 Southeast 8th, drop off a check or, let us have your credit card for a minute and we'll take your membership right now. You can support us. You can become a part of the KBOO family, the KBOO community. And I mean this in my own life in the truest sense of the word. Folks at KBOO were here for me when others were not. It's been in the years since I've become involved, that has been true time and time again, over and over again. And so they can be there for you. Join now, 503-231-8032, 1-877-500-5266, and keep the best jazz in Portland coming at you. Don?
Thank you so much, Jan. We appreciate it, folks. Anything you can do for us would be very much appreciated by me and by Rosie the Jazz Dog. She says, let's get back to the music.